Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Megan, and today we're going to go over my January wrap-up and hopefully February TBR. So these are all the books I read this month. This month was an insanely good reading month. I'm not even sure how it happened. January kind of felt like a long month, but at the same time it felt like it kind of flew by. So I don't know, but I read 15 books in January. I've got my Goodreads up, and so I can see what I rated each book. If you want to follow me on Goodreads, I'll link it down below. I am 23% of the way through my goal for 2023. Okay, so first up, I read, let me move this. The first book I read was I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I really enjoyed this book. I grew up watching iCarly. Me and my brothers and cousins, we all watched iCarly growing up. So it was very interesting to hear all the things she was going through during that time, behind the scenes. Which, like, iCarly is like one of our favorite things as a kid, so it's like crazy to like see how much like she was suffering during that time. Something that was like such a good thing for us, it was such a bad thing for her. But it was really good. I'm not gonna rate this book because it's her life, so I don't feel like it's right to like rate her life. The next book I read was The Haunting of Gillespie House by Darcy Coates on my Kindle. I'm a really big fan of Darcy Coates. She's my kind of what's the word? Like paranormal, haunting, scary type stories, because they usually always have a happy ending. And they're very easy and quick to get through, so it helps get out of a slump, or if you just need a change of pace, a change of scenery. Her books are always good for that. This is about a girl named Elle who is house sitting for the Gillespie property. It's very beautiful, old, has lots of history, which she loves. She likes going to the different rooms and seeing like all the old furniture, but soon she realizes she's not home alone. And I don't know how to not spoil stuff like this, so I'm not going to say a whole lot, but it's very good. I rated it 3 stars. It's not my favorite Darcy Coates book, but it's also not my least favorite, so I highly recommend this one. The next book I read was Ghosted. This one I rated a 4-star. I really enjoyed this. It's about Hollywood's newest heartthrob and a single mom and their history together. Kennedy and Jonathan used to be best friends and a high school sweetheart, and you learn all about their history, how they got to where they are today, and then now the only thing they have in common is their daughter. So you get to see their life. Jonathan is a superhero, and Kennedy's daughter is a big fan of the superhero, but she does not know that he is her father. I'm not good at this. Maybe one day I will be better, but I don't know what's spoiling, what's not spoiling. So yeah. Next up is The Family of Liars. I personally like this book so much better than We Were Liars. I don't know if it's because when I read We Were Liars, I was in a bit of a slump, or I don't know, but We Were Liars kind of left me really confused. But Family of Liars I really liked. It's basically you get to hear the family history. So in We Were Liars, it's all about the cousins, and then in Family of Liars, we hear all about the cousins' parents and like their history and the Sinclair family. You hear everything about them. I gave this 4 stars. So I definitely liked it a lot better than We Were Liars. Next up is Maybe Now by Colleen Hoover. This is like, on Goodreads it says it's number 2, but it's really number 3 because you have Maybe Someday, and then Maybe Not, and now Maybe Now. So this picks up where Maybe Someday leaves off. So I'm not going to give a whole lot about that because I don't want to spoil anything in Maybe Someday. But you see how Ridge and Sydney and Warren and Bridget and Maggie, how they're doing, how their situation is going, and how they decide to live their lives. I don't know. I'm so bad at doing this. I don't know. Yeah. Because I don't want to spoil anything from Maybe Someday. So, gonna keep it nice and simple on that. I rated it 4 stars. Next up, our first 5-star read of the year. I read Kyland by Mia Sheridan. I loved this book so much. You've got Tinley and Kyland, who both, they're very, very poor. They live out in the country, I think Kentucky, but they find themselves up going against the same scholarship for school. Both need the scholarship so they can get out of this town and start a better life for themselves, and both are very competitive. They need to win this scholarship. Tinley struggles each day to survive in a small poverty-stricken coal mining town where she lives with her sister and mentally ill mother. Her dream of winning the college scholarship given to one student by the local coal company and escaping the harshness of her life keeps her going. Kylan lives in the hills too, and has worked tirelessly through starvation, through deep loneliness, against all odds to win the scholarship and leave the town that is full of so much pain. They're both determined not to form any attachments, but one moment changes everything. What happens when only one person gets to win? When only one person gets to leave? And what happens to the one left behind? I loved this book so much, and look how pretty it is. So gorgeous. The cover on Goodreads is not as nice, but this one is so pretty. Mia Sheridan, every time, perfect. Next up is Until Friday Night. This book I gave 3.5, 4 stars. I'm very bad at ranking because when I put these two up together, they both got 4 stars, but I feel like they're completely different. Like, or even this one got a 4 stars. Wait, did I say that was? Oh yeah, and even Ghosted, but like, if I put these two books together, like, this one was so much better than this one. So I really need to work on my ratings, but Until Friday Night gave 4 stars, maybe 3.5, somewhere in there. Basically, you have Maggie, who witnessed her father murder her mother right in front of her eyes, which is not spoiling, it's literally in the back of the book. She has not spoken since that day, and she moves to her aunt and uncle's house. She meets West, who is a football player. He's popular, and they two have something to bond over. And soon West finds Maggie as the person he can talk to because she's not going to talk back to him. So it's kind of like someone he could just spill everything to. And soon the two find each other, needing each other, and Maggie eventually opens up and talks to West because she can relate to what he's going through. So you just kind of follow the two of them along their journey on healing. Yeah. Next up, Indigo Ridge. This is the first book in the Eden series, and I really liked it. So you have Winslow. She is the chief of police in this town of Quincy, and her grandfather is the mayor, and he's like, the only thing you need to be liked in this town is to get along with the Edens because they're like the founding family. Well, on Winslow's first night in Quincy, stuff happens with someone she doesn't know, who happens to be one of the Edens brothers, and they find themselves in a bit of situation. Griffin wants to continue to remind the town that Winslow is an outsider, that she does not belong here, but he doesn't know her history, and the two find themselves having to spend a lot of time together when a murder happens on the Edens property. So Winslow, I don't even know if that's how you say it, Winslow and Griffin have to spend a lot of time together, and yeah, you see how that goes. I really like this. I am very excited to read the second one, but I really like the Edens. Yeah, the cover is so cool. I rated that 4 stars. I don't know if I said that. Next up is Five Survive by Holly Jackson. I was in love with A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, which is also by Holly Jackson. So when I saw she was getting this book come out, I knew I needed to read it. Now, I liked this book, but I did not like it as much as I liked The Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. This, you've got 6 friends that are in an RV heading to Gulf Shores, Alabama for spring break, and they find that their RV is breaking down in the middle of nowhere. They have no cell service, no way to get a hold of somebody for help, and it's getting dark out, and then they realize that their RV is not breaking, they're not having an accident with their RV. Somebody is purposely targeting them, and someone with a rifle is shooting at their tires and blowing out their tires and the gas tank, so they have 0 way to get away. And then they start getting threats from this guy. The 6 friends have until the next morning to figure out who is the target and to survive. It goes pretty fast because it's broke up by like hours, so you got like 12 a.m., 1 a.m. so it's broke up, and you get like halfway through the book and then it just starts flying. It is very good. The ending killed me. It was so sad, the ending, but I really enjoyed this book. Next up is The Reunion. This was a book of the month. This was January's book of the month. You have Liv and Ransom. They were both best friends, and they were grown up on the set of Girl on the Verge. They were both like one of the main stars of the show, best friends, until all of a sudden they aren't. And Liv has no idea what happens, but it's been several years later. She stepped back out of the fame and was doing more small independent movies, where Ransom was still big in the public eye. And then it's like 10 years later, there is a reunion for Girl on the Verge, and they find themselves picking up where they left off, becoming best friends again, and then they both learn like what happened in those years that they were apart and what happened. I give this 3 stars. I enjoyed reading it, but it was kind of like basic. Like, you could see what was gonna happen. I don't know. Next up, I reread Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. 5 stars. 5 stars the first time I read it, 5 stars this time. I absolutely love this book. This is probably my favorite Colleen Hoover book. The quotes in it, the story, I've never read anything like it. When you read this, you have to have a box of tissues, because I just, from like chapter 2 to the end, I just cried the entire time. It like breaks your heart and then heals your heart all at the same time. It's the story of Kenna. She just got out of prison and she's determined to get back into her 4-year-old daughter's life, so she moves back to the town where everything went wrong 5 years ago, and she is going to do anything she can to be reunited with her daughter. You see her struggles and everything she's gone through in those 5 years. You learn about the mistake that happened. She meets Ledger, who is the only person who has not shut the door completely on her, who has a way into her daughter's life. So you see the two of them. Ledger doesn't want to trust Ken at first. He wants nothing to do with her, but then he hears about the struggles that she's gone through. But he also doesn't want to lose his relationship with Kenna's daughter by risking it being around Kenna. So you like, it's so good. You just need to read it. So I highly recommend this. The cover, again, absolutely beautiful. By far my favorite Colleen Hoover book. 5 stars. House of Shadows by Darcy Coates. This is a first book in a 2-book series. This is my least favorite Darcy Coates book. So this book is about Sophie, and her life is falling apart when her father loses all their money, and then a mysterious man shows up and's like, I'll give you your family some money, you just got to marry me, come back and live at my house. So she agrees, because she doesn't want her family to suffer. She gets there. It's not what she expected at all. Things start happening. The house is haunted. And I personally just think they had it too easy. It was like, boom, solve the problem, easy. I can't really say much without spoiling it, but I just felt like Sophie saved the day too easily. Like, it was too easy for her. And then slightly annoyed that the second book kind of leaves off on a cliffhanger. But the second book is not on Kindle Unlimited. So, here, that's a little sad. I gave this between a 2.5 and a 3 stars. Then, to finish January off, I started the Court of Thorns and Roses series, and to say I'm obsessed is an understatement. I have not been able to start this series. I was not even through the first book yet, and I already did not want the series to end. And there is 5 books total in this series, and oh my lord, I'm going to talk about them as a whole because I don't want to say what happens in these books is all dependent on what happens in this book, so I don't want to spoil anything. But I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, and A Court of Wings and Ruin. 5 stars. I think I technically gave this one 4.5, but the next 2, 5. I honestly would probably just round this out to 5 too. Wow, I love it so much. I am so obsessed. I just don't even know what to say. I love this so much. This is honestly probably, it's only the first month of the year, but this will probably be my favorite read of the year, which obviously I don't know yet because we still have 11 months of reading to do, but I already want to go back and reread this, and I haven't finished the series yet, but I absolutely love it. If you're even thinking about reading them, just do it. Just do it. Sarah J. Maas, she did it. She did it. I was not even halfway through A Court of Mist and Fury, and I was like sad that this was eventually going to end. Not just this book, but like this whole series. I really slowed down. I think I read this one in a day and this one in 2 days maybe, and I was like already mad at myself for rushing through it. I wanted to slow it down so bad. And the amount of quotes, and okay, I love that Feyre is not like a, oh, poor me girl. Like, it's like that Feyre, she is just like, yeah, these things happen to me. They made me who I am. I'm still strong, and yeah, I'm not gonna be all poor me. So obviously I don't know what to say. Definitely recommend the ACOTAR series. So those are all the books I read in January. Now I'm gonna quickly go over hopefully my TBR for February. I read the 15 books in January, and I'm a little late to filming and posting this because it's already February 5th. And I technically finished A Court of Wings and Ruin like February 1st. But I included it in January's read because I think it was like 90 pages left out of 700. So I feel like I mostly read that in January, so that's where it belonged. But I've taken a bit of a break. One, because I don't want to read anything other than the next 2 books in A Court of Thorns and Roses. But I don't want it to end. So I'm kind of got a little bit of a battle going on here. But January was very, very, very good. Like, I don't think I've ever read that many books any month before. So don't think that's normal or even think I could do that again, because I really don't know. But here is my February TBR. I'm not even saying that these are going to happen because I'm very much a mood reader. I have no idea what the end of Court and Thorns and Roses is going to do to me, so. First, I want to read the next book, which is A Court of Frost and Starlight. She's a nice small one compared to the others. She should be easy to get through. And then we've got A Court of Silver Flames, which is the last book. But she's a big one. She is. Try not to spoil anything. I have kind of been on TikTok a little too much and spoiled something already, but 751. They honestly just keep getting bigger. But those are my next 2, and then I'm gonna read The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. This, I am a part of Sarah Caroli's book club, and this was her book club of the month, book club pick of the month for Valentine's Day. So she's not that bad, so I think she'll be easy to get through. The next book, kind of Valentine's Day theme, is The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. I have had this book for quite a while, but I think just the cover looks like the perfect February read. Then the next 2, I've heard a lot of things people talk about on Sarah's Discord, which is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I've heard lots of great things about this book, so I'm very excited. It's different than my normal. And then I've also heard a lot about If He Had Been With Me. If he had been with me, everything would have been different. Autumn and Finn used to be inseparable, but then something changed, or they changed. Now they do their best to ignore each other. Adam has her boyfriend, Jamie, and her close-knit group of friends. Finn has become that boy at school that everyone wants to be around. That still doesn't stop the way Autumn feels every time she and Finn cross paths, and the growing, nagging thought that maybe things could have been different. Maybe they should be together. As time passes, Autumn realizes she may not get another chance to make things right before it's too late. Sounds really good. Okay, next up, I am trying to get through my Book of the Month books. So I have The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. I've heard a lot of good things about this book, and the cover is very great. This was from July's pick of the month, but she's got his back, he's got her heart, they've got a secret. What could possibly go wrong? Next up, Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates. I like to go through at least one Darcy Coates book a month. It's just a nice palette cleanser. Wow, sometimes I think I don't pay attention to details because I just looked at that book and there is an eyeball. Kind of creepy, but sounds very good. And the last book on my TBR for February is Part of Your World. It's a twisted tale about Ariel. So what if Ariel had never defeated Ursula? So these are all 9 of my hopeful TBR for February. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any good book recommendations, just comment them down below. I am always good for a good recommendation. I will see you guys later, and remember, don't be afraid to be yourself.